Oh, yeah. Is it Thursday already? The Mandalorian and Grogu, I guess, teaser trailer, a 13-second arena fight scene of Din Djarin versus all the chess pieces from the Millennium Falcon is here. And we also got to talk about Ahsoka Season 2 because the release slate for 2026 has been revealed and Ahsoka Season 2 is not on it. Is it being delayed into 2027? We'll talk about all that today. And it's the 10-year anniversary. Today is the exact 10-year anniversary of the release of The Force Awakens. So we got some pretty cool stuff to talk about when it comes to that. And Sean Levy just gave us a little bit of an inside look at Starfighter as well. So we got a lot to get into and not a lot of time. So without further ado, let's dive into all of it. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing on this fine Thursday afternoon? A Mando trailer, Ahsoka Season 2 news, Starfighter news. You couldn't ask for a better time to be a Star Wars fan. Avatar Fire and Ash comes out this weekend, and along with it is a Mando trailer. Now, that entire Mando trailer has not been released publicly, but has come from multiple people that have seen that movie. I have not seen it, but multiple people have claimed that they have seen a brand new Mandalorian and Grogu trailer. So right now that has not been released publicly and we cannot watch that. However, we do have an arena fight scene trailer that was released or leaked out there that we are going to watch today because there's a lot of questions that come up from this and a lot of Easter eggs as well. So we're going to talk about that trailer and Ahsoka Season 2 and whether or not it is delayed, which sounds pretty crazy to me, but we'll talk about all of it. But before we do that, let's start the stream the only way we know how, the correct way, by saying hi to everybody in the chat. Shall we? Vegas Jedi, how we doing? April in the house. Darth Vader, the Sith Lord himself, is here. How we doing? Holly in the building. Starship 66, what is up? Skywalker Academy, how we doing? That guy B in the house. Mr. /X, what is up? Ron, how we doing? Navarro in the building. 50 Thunderer, what is up? Brandon Baker, how we doing? Darth Plagueis lives in the house. Wookie Talks, what is up? Talkative Cargo Pilot, how we doing? Star Wars Santa, must be a busy time of the year for you, Santa. I appreciate you stopping by. If I missed you, you know the deal. Just yell at me in the chat. Duncan, what's up? Mando United, how we doing? All right, if I missed you, you know the deal. Yell at me in the chat, and let's give everybody a nice little...
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
So I feel like we got to start with this trailer. I mean, come on. It's a new Mando trailer. We got to talk about it. So let's start there, and then we'll shift gears over to Ahsoka Season 2 because... craziness. But let's talk about the Mandalorian and Grogu teaser trailer. First, a 13-second leaked trailer of Din Djarin in the Gladiator arena, or just arena fight scene. So let's watch it because we're gonna watch it 100,000 times because it's 13 seconds long. So let's just start by watching it first. Let's start there. This just says the description is a short clip of the new trailer. So I think this is just the very tail end of that new trailer that's being shown in front of Avatar Fire and Ash that comes out this weekend. So this is a brief snippet of that new trailer that we have. All right, take a look. Hang on, turn that volume up to 11. Let's try that again. Start over. That's it. Of course, it's not in English because no leak ever is. But that's it. It's only 13 seconds, so let's watch it again. So there's a few things going on here. One, yes, it is Din Djarin, and look at this badass kick. Boom. It is Din Djarin, and he's fighting all of these different creatures. Now, what's really cool about this is, one, there's the sword. So we're talking about that sword on Tuesday's live stream, the leaked Black Series figure of Din and Grogu. Let me see if I can find that really quickly. This was leaked on Tuesday. What? Load quicker. This was leaked on Tuesday, this Black Series figure. Aha, here it is. And we were talking about how there's a sword right there as an accessory for Din Djarin. And, well, from what we've seen, he's never wielded a sword. And now, fast forward to today, only 2 days later, we get this trailer where he is wielding that exact sword. So I don't know if he'll keep that sword for the whole movie, but at least for this arena scene, he will be taking down these creatures with the sword. Now, let's talk about those creatures for a second. Anybody recognize these little guys? I mean, this guy looks like he's straight out of, I don't know, a horror movie. It's creepy as hell. But this guy right here, all of them. This guy right there. Anybody recognize these handsome fellas? This guy at the very beginning, you know, fantastic design. Anybody recognize those? So all of these are creatures featured on the Chewie hollow chess table. Yes, every single one of them. Take a look at this. This is the hollow chess table scene in A New Hope and in Solo and in the sequel trilogy as well. This hollow chess game. And if you look around the table, this is the one that Din Djarin is on his back trying to choke him to death. This guy who is laying down here is the one that you see at the beginning that doesn't really look like he has a head. And then if you look all the way over here, this staff right there, you see that? Din Djarin can be seen holding that same staff. Right there. Oh, my giant ass head's in the way. Right there. That same staff is right there. It's called Djarin, Mike? Yeah. So the hollow chess in Star Wars is called Djarin, but for most people, they don't know what that means. So I think hollow chess kind of gets the point across. So, hollow chessboard. So all of these creatures that you see Din Djarin going up against, even this, you know, he's got mouths for hands. You know, this guy must live a pretty tough life. You know, he can't pick up anything without destroying it because he's got teeth on his hands. Like, the creature lives a tough life, okay? But when you look back, even this guy at the very beginning, he is in the hollow chess from A New Hope. If I can pull it up again. So if you look around the table, these are the creatures that Din will be going up against. The creepy one that looks like from Stranger Things over there, the staff that he's holding right there, the one that he's choking out right there, and the one at the very beginning right there. Let me see if I can get a better picture of the other guy. That's a bad picture. Hang on. Hang on. Let's see. Aha, here we go. This is perfect. There it is. So, as you can see, mouth for hands is right there. Mouth for hands is right there. The guy he chokes out is right there on the right. The weird looking dude at the very beginning of the trailer is right there. I'll get to that super chat in 1 sec. And then the staff holding creepy looking Stranger Things looking guy is right there. So I don't know if these other 2 or 3 will show up in the movie, but the fact that there's 4 of them in one scene is pretty, coincidence? I think not. This is quite a cool Easter egg. Din Djarin fighting the hollow chess table members. And leave it up to Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni to do something cool like this over and over again. I mean, callbacks to the original trilogy happen in The Mandalorian all the time, with the biggest one being R5 being a main character in that 3rd season and R5 being the droid with the bad motivator that Luke almost takes instead of R2-D2 and Uncle Owen. They almost take him instead of R2-D2, but he has a bad motivator. So leave it to them to give you these wild throwbacks to the hollow chess pieces. Like, that's just so insanely cool. So although it is just a 13-second little snippet, it does give us a lot of cool things and a lot of questions. My question being, and I'm going to open it up to the class because I don't know, is how does Din Djarin go from being an audience member to fighting these creatures? Because in the first trailer for the Mandalorian and Grogu movie that we have, you can see Din Djarin and Grogu in the audience eating popcorn, or I guess, or Mantel mix. See if I can find that real quick. So, Din and Grogu go from being in the... Whoa, that's loud. Hang on.
Impressive.
They're in the audience as spectators to Din Djarin ending up fighting all these different creatures. Oh, too far. All these different creatures in the arena. How does that happen? It's so funny because we are only 5 months away from this movie. 5 months until The Mandalorian and Grogu releases. That's not a very long time at all. And up until this point, we know very little about this movie. Very little. We don't know, who the main bad guys are. We assume it's going to be the Imperial Remnant, but that's still remains to be seen. Is Thrawn going to be involved at all? Maybe not physically there, but at least pulling the strings from behind the scenes. Are we going to get to actually see Grief Karga die or not? Because Carl Weathers sadly died in real life and the character has to be dealt with. What is Stinky the Hutt's role in all of this? Like, there are so many questions that we still have about just the plot in general about this movie. And these little mini trailers just keep on, making things more interesting. Why does Din Djarin end up in the arena fighting these creatures? He was just a nice little, audience member with Grogu. Oh, hang on.
Impressive.
Just hanging out. Impressive. And then he just wants to, die. He wants to go risk his life to fight some little creatures in a gladiator ring. Seems a little crazy to me. Seems a little crazy. Either he was captured or made a bet where if he wins, then he gets important information. I like that a lot. I like that quite a bit. Maybe, just maybe, Din Djarin goes to this handsome fella, Rod the Hutt, voiced by Jeremy Allen White, and says, I need information or I need help. And he says, I'll only give it to you if you go win this gladiator fight. I like that a lot. We really know nothing except for some cast members. True, but even the cast members, we don't know many of them. We know that Sigourney Weaver will be in it, but her role is very small. We know that Din Djarin, Pedro Pascal, will of course be in it, but we don't know if we'll see his face. We know Grogu will be in it. Of course, he's in the title of the movie. And we know that Jeremy Allen White will be voicing Rod of the Hutt. Oh, and the 2 Shadow Council members. 2 Shadow Council members will be in the movie as well. Other than that, nothing. We don't know, I guess, Zeb Orrelios, but yeah. Other than that, nothing. We don't know if Carson Teva will be in there. We don't know if Bo-Katan, Boba Fett, or anybody that we know will be in this movie. No clue. Even Embo. The rumors of Embo have not been confirmed. He's not confirmed to be in the movie. So even the cast members in a movie that's going to be this blockbuster return to theaters for Star Wars with so many different characters, we only know of, 5? We know 5 characters coming into this movie. Pretty wild. Din is probably on a mission for the New Republic and has to go to the arena. He might have gotten caught and he's sent to face them as a punishment. So we're thinking that Din Djarin gets captured here and put into the arena. I like the theory more that he needs to win this fight to get information. And he's like, I can do that. Step aside, you big green slug. I can do that with my eyes closed. Yeah. I'm starting to agree with you, Mike. I think that Din Djarin will die. We did it! I wasn't even going to talk about that today, but yes, I do think that Din Djarin will die in this movie. 100%. The only reason his mask would come off, the only reason we'd see Pedro Pascal's face after all of Season 3 was all about how he's not supposed to take off that helmet. The only reason we would is if it's taken off for him or he dies. But I digress. We are way too early in this live stream to start talking about Din Djarin's death. So let's, ease people in. He won't die and it won't make a billion. Book both. Both are going to be wrong. Very wrong. Again, going back to the $1 billion thing, this movie will make a actually, you know what? Let's poll it up. We haven't put up a poll yet this live stream. Let's poll it up. Do you think the Mandalorian and Grogu movie will make $1 billion as we're watching this trailer, as we're doing all this stuff, talking Mando and Grogu? Do you think it'll make $1 billion? Let's put up a poll. Do you think the Mando and Grogu will make, oh my God, I can't type, make $1 billion? Yes or no? If so, tell me why. And if not, tell me why in the chat. Because here's the deal. Zootopia 2 just came out. It made $1 billion in like a week and a half. And that movie is like, again, I don't know anybody in my life that watches that. And my brother has a kid and my cousins have kids. I don't know anybody who's seen Zootopia 2. Maybe it's a great movie. I don't know. I saw the first one probably on streaming or something. I don't know. But you're looking at the last couple of years where Lilo and Stitch made $1 billion. It released on the same day or the day after The Mandalorian and Grogu will be releasing. Lilo and Stitch made $1 billion. Moana 2 made $1 billion. Inside Out 2 made $1 billion. Zootopia 2 made $1 billion. Deadpool and Wolverine made $1 billion. This is all within the last two years. Of all of those movies I just mentioned, maybe Deadpool and Wolverine. Maybe. Because of Marvel, because of the hype for that, franchise. Maybe. Other than that, Star Wars is leaps and bounds ahead of all of those other franchises. Like, it's not even close. You're talking about Zootopia 2 and Star Wars. You're talking about The Mandalorian, the biggest show on Disney+. And by the way, it just passed. Let me pull this up. We had the Disney Plus end-of-year stats get released, and two very important things came out for Star Wars fans. One, the most streamed or most watched day of the year for Disney Plus content was, can anybody guess? What was of the 365 days of the year, what day was the most streamed on Disney Plus? For anything, not just Star Wars, for all media. Can anybody guess? And while you guess, the other bit of news was that The Mandalorian show, the first 3 seasons, passed 1 billion minutes streamed. Oh, shit. Sorry. This, nope, don't look at the screen. Don't look at the screen. Oh, I gave away the answer. It's May the 4th, yes. Okay, so May the 4th is the most watched day of the year when it comes to Disney Plus content because everybody and their dogs wanted to watch Star Wars on May the 4th. Damn, I ruined that. But The Mandalorian and The Mandalorian show passed 1 billion minutes streamed. And it's the first, let me read this real quick. Significant milestone for the original. Let's zoom out. I haven't had to zoom out ever on this. Okay, there we go. And is now streamed over 1 billion minutes between millions of Disney Plus viewers. This makes it the first and only Star Wars show to do so. The end-of-year statement directly from Walt Disney Company about their streaming numbers, it is revealed that The Mandalorian has found its way to over 1 billion minutes of streamed content between its 24 episodes, making it the only Disney Plus original show to achieve such a milestone. Not just Star Wars, but any original Disney Plus show. So, we're not sitting here talking about I don't know, Skeleton Crew, which I love, by the way. But we're not sitting here talking about Skeleton Crew going to the movie theaters and making $1 billion. We're not sitting here talking about The Acolyte going to the movie theaters and making $1 billion. We're talking about the biggest Disney Plus show, not just Star Wars, but Disney Plus, they've ever had, with by far the biggest fan base, with Grogu toys selling by the billions with a B, of dollars every single year, not all time, year, and easily their biggest moneymaker they've ever had in the 13 years of Disney Star Wars. You're going to sit here and tell, oh, and by the way, 4 of their 5 Star Wars movies have made $1 billion. when you take out the fact that Grogu's in it, when you take out the fact that it's their biggest Disney Plus show ever, and you think it's not going to make $1 billion? You think Zootopia 2 can make $1 billion, but the Mandalorian and Grogu movie can't make $1 billion? Like, that actually sounds insane to me. Insane. But, I just like to use logic and statistics and facts when I look at things. But, hey, I think it'll make $2 billion, but that's just me being crazy. See, I think that $2 billion is crazy. Absolutely. Sure. $2 billion is crazy. But I still think it can get there. Speaking of $2 billion, we will talk about the 10-year anniversary of The Force Awakens later on today. But, yeah, that movie made $2 billion. Okay, we got distracted. Let's get back to this trailer and The Mandalorian and Grogu at hand. Will it make $1 billion? You tell me in the chat. But let's take a look back at this trailer. Because, wait, what? Oh, never mind. We're good. I already knew that because this is what's happening here. Reports are confirming that The Mandalorian and Grogu IMAX Countdown and the new trailer are currently playing in front of Avatar Fire and Ash in cinemas. And then when will this be uploaded online? So multiple people have seen Avatar Fire and Ash because it came out, I guess, last night and today. And people who are going to see this movie have said that, yes, there is a Mandalorian and Grogu trailer attached to it. Now, usually those trailers will get leaked out, and I'm sure it will, probably today or tomorrow. But will that trailer be released publicly? I assume so, because we haven't gotten a public trailer for this movie since... When was that first trailer dropped? Since September 22nd, almost 3 months ago. We haven't gotten a trailer for this movie in almost 3 months. So it would make sense that maybe on the 22nd, because that will be exactly 5 months away. So maybe 4 days from now, they'll release it publicly. Or they'll do it today. Or they'll do it tomorrow. I don't know. But since there is a trailer attached to Avatar Fire and Ash, it's highly likely that that trailer will be released publicly. Yes. I don't know when. I don't know how. But 100%. Bro is the definition of copium. I don't understand. Did I not just explain perfectly why this movie will make $1 billion logically? Taking all my Star Wars fandom out of it. Logic only. The Mandalorian and Grogu, the Mandalorian show is their biggest Disney Plus hit of all time. Period. End of sentence. Grogu is their best-selling thing since sliced bread. Period. End of sentence. Movies like Zootopia 2 and Lilo and Stitch and Inside Out 2 are making $1 billion, and they're nowhere close to the same level of fandom and longevity with the 50 years of history of Star Wars. 4 of the 5 Star Wars movies that Disney has made have made $1 billion in the last 13 years. Like, these are all facts I'm saying. These aren't just like me hoping and praying. These are all facts. But no, I'm crazy. I'm the crazy one. I'm the crazy one. Okay. But going back to this trailer, do you guys think this will be released publicly? Yes or no? I assume it will get leaked out, as all do. There was a trailer shown in front of Zootopia 2, actually, that did get leaked out, and we watched that trailer. There was no new footage from that. It was all either stuff we saw from Star Wars Celebration or from the trailer that we got 3 months ago. So I think it's more likely that we will get new scenes in this trailer that we've never seen before, which will hopefully be really good. You're seeing Avatar tomorrow? Okay. If you guys see Avatar, I have no plans to. I mean, maybe just to go see this trailer if it doesn't get released publicly. But I assume it will, so I'm in no rush. But if you do go see it, let me know in the Discord or in the chat if you do see a Mando trailer. And describe it in excruciating detail, please. That would be ideal. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but Avatar, it just never hooked me, Like, the first movie was good, sure. The CGI for 2008 or 9 or whatever it was fantastic. Visually, it was appealing. Had no interest to see the second one. Actually, still have never seen the second one, Way of Water. And I have zero interest to go see this third one either. I don't know any of the characters. I don't know the story. And I've seen the first one multiple times. So, I don't know. It never piqued my interest. Those movies, again, proof to my point. Those movies make $2 billion like it's nothing. The first one is actually the highest grossing movie of all time, and the second one made $2 billion like it was nothing. And I'm assuming that this movie will too. Yeah. You're talking about the Avatar franchise versus a Star Wars franchise. Craziness. But I'm hoping this trailer will be released publicly. Only time will tell. Although this 13-second clip that we have of Din Djarin in the gladiator arena fighting all these hollow chest monsters, that is supposedly a short clip from the trailer shown at the movies. So let's watch it again. Why not? What's cool to me is that Din is sort of in there by himself. I doubt Grogu is in there with him. I'm not too sure. But Empire Stop Motion, what's up? How we doing? I'm not quite sure if Grogu will be involved in this fight scene. He is in the audience eating his Mantel mix. But I don't think, maybe if Din Djarin gets in real trouble, he'll use the Force to stop him. The way I see this happening, we don't know the plot of this movie at all, so I'm just guesstimating here. This is my theory for now, is that this whole thing with the arena will be one of the opening scenes of the movie. Maybe not the opening scene, but one of them, to immediately show the audience that's never seen The Mandalorian, because they do that with all the new stuff. For example, Ahsoka. You can watch Ahsoka Season 1 without having ever seen Rebels or Clone Wars. If you have seen Rebels and Clone Wars, it'll be a lot better. You'll know the history of these characters and you'll know all this other stuff, but you don't have to. You can watch that show with zero knowledge of Star Wars and it still makes sense. They want to do that with this Mandalorian movie too, because if there's one fan, even just one, who's never seen The Mandalorian, doesn't know who Grogu is because maybe they've been living under a rock for the last 6 years, whatever it may be, they don't want them to be confused. If this is your first introduction to Star Wars ever, they don't want them to be confused about the story. So they have to introduce these characters in a way where it comes across like, okay, Din Djarin, he's a bounty hunter. He's working for the New Republic. He's badass. Grogu is a Force-sensitive kid. He's got training in the Force. He's very powerful. He's not Baby Yoda, but these two characters are, father and son duo and their relationship together and how powerful they are. This would be the perfect spot to do that. Show off how badass Din Djarin is with this epic fight scene. Maybe make him be in trouble at some point and Grogu uses the Force to save him. So it immediately tells you that he can use the Force. All that stuff can be set up perfectly with this enormous epic battle scene to open the movie. So I think this will be an early scene in the film, setting up our main story with Stinky the Hutt, because apparently he's going to be a big role in this film. Yeah. Indeed. Would Thrawn be the purple? What? There's the sword. Yeah, there's the sword that we were talking about on Tuesday. True. I haven't seen the second Avatar. Can't even remember if I've seen the first one. That's what I don't get. That's usually the common occurrence. Avatar 2 was really boring. That's usually what happens when we talk about Avatars. People are like, I've never seen it, or I don't like that franchise, or it's really boring. And yet these movies make $2 billion like it's easy. I don't get it at all. I don't get it. Hang on, we got a super chat. Did I get to the first super chat even? Holy crap. I'm way behind. Let me get back. Hang on. Where's his first super chat? Oh, Darth Plagueis lives with a very generous $5 holla, says, love the trailer. Will the one with Avatar be released publicly? Okay, so we kind of answered that. I don't know. I'm hoping it's going to be. But as of right now, it's not. And Avatar came out yesterday. So I'm not quite sure. Okay, going to the second super chat. Scrolling. Holy crap, what the hell? I appreciate the hearts, guys. I really, really do. Alexander Wilson with a very generous $5 holla. I appreciate that quite a bit. Says, for your information, Inside Out 2 is the highest grossing movie of all time in Mexico and Brazil. Wow. Why is that? The franchise is bigger than that Star Wars in Latin America. The franchise is bigger than Star Wars in Latin America. I won't disagree with you because I don't know. I have no idea. But why is that? Inside Out 2. I don't know the cast very well. Am I missing something? Why is it so big in Brazil and Mexico? Or was it just because? I know Disney has this big fandom, I guess, in Brazil because they do this Brazil Comic-Con every single year, the CCXP, which actually just happened a couple weeks ago. Yeah. Do you think that Disney has learned their lesson not having Jon Favreau on board like what happened with season 3? What do you mean? Jon Favreau was on board with Mando season 3. What are you talking about? Because it's a great movie? Again, I can't attest to that. I have not seen Inside Out 2. I bet you it's really good. I bet you it is really good. But you're going to still sit here and tell me that Inside Out has a bigger fandom than Star Wars? Like, we're talking about two things that don't even belong in the same sentence. You're talking about something that's had billions of fans over the last 48 years versus a franchise that's less than 10 years old. A franchise that's not very... It's not in the same universe, literally and figuratively. Not in the same universe. I know this is way out of the question, but I just have to know, when are they going to put in cameos? Oh, a cameo, sorry, of Prince Zurzo from Shadow of the Empire. Probably never. I don't know. A lot of that Shadow of the Empire stuff will likely not make it over. But you do have the syndicates, you have the Black Sun, you have the Crimson Dawn. That could be sort of a plot line for the Book of Boba Fett. Could be something maybe in the comics, maybe Maul Shadow Lord, possibly. But for stuff like that, I don't know. A lot of Legends things will not be brought over to canon. Yes. Z-Zor. Thank you. Yes. But it's highly unlikely, I would say. Highly unlikely. This is crazy. This poll right now has 60% of you saying, yes, it will make $1 billion, and 40% saying no. Maybe... I don't know. I feel like common sense has gone out the window on this one. You guys really believe it won't make $1 billion? Kira mentions him in the comics? Really? I did not know that. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. It's going to be funny because in 5 months from now, well, I guess in 5 months and a couple weeks from now, in 5 or 6 months from now, let's put it, 6 months from now, one of us is going to be very, very wrong. And it's either going to make $1 billion or not make $1 billion, or it's going to make $2 billion. Either way, a big portion of us, 60% or 40%, will be wrong. And will be very wrong. But I am willing to put so much on the fact that it's going to make $1 billion. Yeah. So, We shall see. We shall see. Keep in mind, the top grossing movie of this year is a Chinese animated movie at $1.9 billion. Oh, yeah. What was it called? Neza 2? Was it Neza 2? Whatever it was. Yeah, that's true. Matthew, what's up? Kids' movies sell 2 times more because of parents and children. True. And what is Star Wars again? I know we're all probably adults in here talking about Star Wars, but let's be honest, as George Lucas has always attested, Star Wars is made for 13-year-olds. It's made for those kids. And especially when you add Grogu into the equation, you're going to have every kid in their cousins and dogs and moms and dads and gardeners and nannies and E.T. going to see the movie. The Mandalorian and Grogu is going to be a family movie. I predict Baby Yoda fever. Yeah. I mean, that's the same reason that The Mandalorian itself is so popular, because everybody wants to see the tiny little green fella and how cute he is. All right. All right. We can argue about this till the cows come home, because we're never going to know until the movie comes out. So let's keep going, shall we? Let's keep going. Let's go back to our article here real quick so we can just put this to bed. Mandalorian and Grogu passes 1 billion minutes streamed, and May the 4th is the most streamed day in 2025. In the new end-of-year statement directly from Walt Disney Company about the streaming numbers, it was revealed that The Mandalorian was found to have over 1 billion minutes streamed content between its 24 episodes, making it the only Disney Plus original show to achieve such a milestone. Only one other streaming series produced by Disney achieved this, with Hulu's The Handmaid's Tale. You can see that other shows, the 2 animated movies featuring Lin-Manuel Miranda songs that reached such a milestone between Disney Plus and Hulu. Join the $1 billion streaming club. Bluey, of course. American Dad, 911, Bob's Burgers, Bones, Encanto, of course. Futurama, nice. How I Met Your Mother, of course. Family Guy, duh. A lot of kids shows on here. Spidey with the Amazing Friends, Mickey Mouse, Bluey, Jesse. That's kind of surprising. I didn't know Jesse had that kind of following. King of the Hill, yeah. Law and Order, sure. The Mandalorian, great. The Simpsons, of course. Moana, sure. Moana 2 is actually the most streamed movie of the year on Disney Plus. That's pretty cool too. So there you have it. The only Star Wars and Disney Plus original on there is The Mandalorian. One thing should naturally stand out to those paying attention. Most of these shows on the lists are archives of long-running network television series. For example, The Simpsons or Family Guy. Many of which have ended. Some of those which are still going on. But the most of these didn't receive streaming-only follow-up seasons like adult animated cartoons Futurama or King of the Hill. Some more contemporary shows like Spidey and His Amazing Friends, the only Marvel show listed here, Bluey and the Rookie, all started more recently, either shortly before or after the launch of Disney+. Streaming originals are generally less watched than shows that started on cable. I mean, they have less of a fandom and less of, I guess, knowledge that they even exist. But that's kind of meant to be buried by the company's big picture message. They've got a lot of shows that people have watched, loved, and kept watching, which is why there are this many that have had over 1 billion hours streamed. Oh, 1 billion hours? This said 1 billion minutes, no? Yeah, 1 billion minutes. And this thing says 1 billion hours. 1 billion hours makes more sense. 1 billion minutes is like not that many. 1 billion hours. Okay, that makes more sense. This is 1 billion minutes too. 1 billion hours. Okay. 1 billion hours. There it is. The numbers are also somewhat lacking in content in that we don't know if the shows passed these milestones for just 2025 or if these numbers are cumulative from the start of the operations, yes, of Hulu, early 2008, and Disney Plus in 2019. Hulu is that old? What? Is that true? Did Hulu start in 2008? How's that possible? Streaming just seems like such a new thing. I know Netflix is pretty old because it started as that, like, send a DVD to your house. But is Hulu actually that old? Can somebody confirm nor deny that? What do we think? Anybody? It's true? Holy crap. 2008 is insane. All right. Or if all of these shows finally passed 1 billion minutes, again, hours threshold by this year. We also don't know how these titles compare to each other, which, of course, some could be way higher than others. Of course, The Simpsons could be way higher, maybe in the multiple billions of hours watched. The Walt Disney Company feels like they are able to spin the numbers as a pretty sizable win in their own right. I mean, as it is. In other news, Disney singled out the Star Wars Day, May the 4th, as being the most watched day of the year in 2025 on Disney+. Meaning, minutes watched, hours watched. The most streamed day of the year was May the 4th. The day saw the release of all 4 episodes of Tales of the Underworld, which, as much as I love Tales of the Underworld, I don't think this is what was pushing it over the edge. It was more so just people wanting to watch Star Wars on Star Wars Day. 2 POV Star Wars park experiences, the Rise of the Resistance ride and the more general Galaxy's Edge experience, and also promoting existing Star Wars movies and Disney Plus original programming, such as the first season of Andor and the half of the final season, which was releasing at the time, I suppose, which had released in the 2 weeks before the fan holiday. The lineup for 2026 so far included a new season of Ahsoka 2. Wait, what? Does? Oh, this is what it's just saying here. Okay. So next year, what we assume is coming is Ahsoka Season 2, Maul Shadow Lord, The Ninth Jedi, The Mandalorian and Grogu, which will eventually end up on Disney Plus too. But those are the big 4 releases in 2026 for shows and movies. The video games just got announced last week. We got the Star Wars Galactic Racer game, which is multiplayer, which has got me excited. And Zero Company, Star Wars Zero Company, which is a turn-based tactic game, which I'm not really that excited for because I'm not a big fan of those turn-based games. But that's besides the point. That's 2026 thus far. Let's switch gears a little bit here for a second to Ahsoka Season 2. Because this news of it being delayed into 2027, well, let's just talk about it. So, if you've been living under a rock for the last couple days here, then you don't know what I'm talking about. But here's what happened. The slate for 2026 Star Wars content was released. And on it was, the huge Maul Shadow Lord, Mandalorian and Grogu, The Ninth Jedi, but no Ahsoka Season 2. And this led to, well, chaos, as Star Wars fans started to think that this show might not be coming out in 2026. Ahsoka Season 2 is not included on Disney's updated slate for 2026. This may be an oversight, or it could suggest a possible delay into 2027. Now, before we, before we lose our minds, before we start panicking and hitting the alarm, let's think about this logically for a second. Ahsoka Season 2 is on pretty much the exact same trajectory as Season 1, where it stopped filming in October and released the following August. That's what Season 1 did. In 2022, October 2022, it stopped filming, and in August of 2023, it was released. So, Ahsoka Season 2 stopped filming in October of 2025, so you assume that it will come out in August of 2026, right? Wrong. apparently it's going to be delayed. Now, I assume that it wouldn't come out in August anyway. I was always saying September or even October to round out the year. Because if The Mandalorian is going into theaters in May, it'll likely stay in theaters till at least August, or maybe early August. So Ahsoka Season 2 would be smart to come out in September to sort of piggyback off the success of The Mandalorian and Grogu. Now, delaying a show from September to the following year is a pretty massive delay. You're talking September, October, November, December. At least 4 months. At least. And that's a big ass delay. So unless something really big is happening behind the scenes that is causing this to happen, I see no reason for there to be an at least 4 month, maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 month delay for Ahsoka Season 2. I don't see it. Especially when you look into 2027 and how big that year is going to be with Star Wars Celebration in April, Star Wars Starfighter in May, and the re-release of the 50th anniversary of A New Hope in February. Not May, February. So I don't know where Ahsoka Season 2 would fit into all of that. So it makes a lot more sense that it would still come out in 2026. And the reason for it not being put on the slate could be just either a mishap, a misprint, a mistake, or they're just trying to keep it a secret for one reason or another. Yeah, a massive delay would not be a good sign for Ahsoka Season 2. So when I look at this, it might just be, as they put it, an oversight, or it could be just a mistake. Either way, Ahsoka Season 2, I think, is probably the most likely. Not the most likely. I mean, The Mandalorian and Grogu has a release date. But other than The Mandalorian and Grogu, it's probably the most likely to come out in 2026. Because of we have already the previous release schedule and development schedule and production schedule for Season 1. So if it's the same team, if it's the same schedule, then it's likely to be around the same amount of time. And we already have Season 1 to go off of. So I think this is sort of a lot of hoopla. I wouldn't be surprised for maybe a minor delay, like maybe instead of August release, it comes out in October. Sure. But getting pushed all the way 4 or 5 months later to 2027 would be a shock to me. So in terms of Ahsoka Season 2 being delayed, I don't buy it. But what do we think? To be honest, Filoni is really busy in the first half of next year. Oh, of this last year. Yeah, I mean with Star Wars Celebration and everything. And then he was filming Ahsoka Season 2, but that doesn't again affect Ahsoka Season 2. You know? Robert, what's up? When was the last time a movie lasted in the theaters for several months? I don't see The Mandalorian and Grogu having a run from May to August. Well, yeah, the run for movies is shorter now, but it's still at least a couple months. For example, see, I don't know any of those for sure. I'm not quite sure. Hang on, let me see. What is the average movie in theater? Okay, so the average movie in theaters run is 30 to 45 days. So that's anywhere from a month to, I guess, a month and a half. So, yeah, I guess only 2 months. So it would be May. Well, it's the end of May. So May into June, June into July. So maybe it could reach August, but maybe not. End of July, possibly. So I guess May to July. I was off by a couple weeks. But yeah, 30 to 45 days, depending on the blockbuster and popularity of the movie. It says, with a popular blockbuster potentially extending to 90 plus days, while less successful films might leave a little bit earlier, like a week or two early. Depending on the box office performance, streaming details or streaming deals and studios' strategy. So depending on how popular the Mandalorian and Grogu movie is, it could be a lot longer. For example, blockbuster hit. How long was Oppenheimer in? Oh, Oppenheimer had an over 90+ day window because it was so successful. So there you have it. There you have it. If it's successful, it'll be in theaters till August. Absolutely. We're looking for a summer blockbuster. You can't push something back that hasn't been given a release date yet. True. So Ahsoka Season 2 being delayed is impossible because it doesn't have a release date yet. I will grant you that. However, because of Season 1 and the information that we know of, it's likely that Ahsoka will be given to us anywhere from August to October of next year. And anything after that, to me, will be considered a delay. Now, would it actually be a delay? No, because it doesn't have a release date yet. But if it takes longer for Season 2 by an extraordinary amount, but for example, more than 3 months, longer than Season 1, then something must have happened. Yeah. True. So in terms of Ahsoka Season 2 being delayed, I'm going to say no, in that release slate for 2026 was most likely either a mistake or they're trying to keep it a secret for one reason or another. Yes. Indeed. True. Calling it a delay is just to create drama. Yeah, for the most part. I mean, the title of the live stream today is Ahsoka Season 2 delayed ? Because in my mind, if it doesn't come out before October of next year, that's a delay. Is it actually delayed? I don't think so. So that's the big question mark for you, because I don't think it's delayed at all. But that is what's happening right now, is people are saying it could be pushed back or delayed into 2027, and I could not disagree more. But there's that. A little bit of other news before we get to the Starfighter stuff. We got to talk about this. Well, first things first, let's talk about, we did hit 190,000 subscribers late last night. So we did hit 190,000 subscribers. So first things first, I could not appreciate you guys more. Without you guys, this doesn't exist. We don't stream on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays without you. I don't, have this nice silver play button behind me without you guys. So 190 is an extremely, extremely cool goal to hit. One step closer to 200, but you got to celebrate all the things as we go. 190 is a really, really cool goal, and we hit it before the end of the year, which is even cooler. So we're hoping for 200,000 in 2026, and who knows where from there. But 190. Holy crap. So I appreciate you all so much. And yeah, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. 190,000 of you decided to hit a button because of me. I must be pretty good at convincing you to do stuff because, smash a freaking like in this stream. No, that's insane. It's insane. I don't understand it. I don't get it. But it's awesome. So I appreciate it. Wild. Okay. But that was just a little fun thing for the channel there, and let's move on. Let's talk about this. 2 months after Adam Driver revealed the Hunt for Ben Solo, Star Wars fans launch a New York City campaign to save it. So just when the hype, or I guess excitement for the Hunt for Ben Solo dies down a little bit, Star Wars fans give them the 1-2 punch with an entire campaign launched in New York City, the biggest city in the United States. The campaign to revive the Hunt for Ben Solo rolls on. The newest salvo in the public relations war is a mobile billboard rolling through New York City. The campaign intends to show support for the revival of the canceled film, which would have returned Adam Driver's wayward son of Han Solo and Princess Leia to the Star Wars universe after his seeming demise in the concluding film of the sequel trilogy, The Rise of Skywalker. So this is the poster that was put up. We want Soderbergh and Driver, Steven Soderbergh and Adam Driver, who Soderbergh is the Oscar-winning director who would be directing the movie, and Adam Driver, who of course will be playing Ben Solo. They also had this, a traveling billboard on the back of a truck that says "Save the Hunt for Ben Solo," and there's even a website there too. I Hodge with a very what did I just do? I Hodge with a very generous $2 holla. I appreciate that quite a bit. Says, congrats on the 190K. Rock on. Let's effing go. I appreciate that, I Hodge. I really, really do. And Ron with a very generous $10 holla. Holy crap, that's insanely generous. Says, congrats, Mike. I appreciate it, guys. I really, really do. That's extremely generous. So, with this, tell me in the chat. 1, do you want this movie? Do you want to see The Hunt for Ben Solo? And 2, do you think it will actually happen? Tell me in the chat. For me, 1, absolutely I want this movie. More Ben Solo, the better. Adam Driver wanting to come back to Star Wars is enormous. And you can do it with the World Between Worlds. You can do it with the Dyad and the Force. All that. Yes. Number 1, 100%. Do I think it's still going to happen? I still say yes. I just think it's going to take some time. I think you need Bob Iger's out next year. He is stepping down from a CEO role, and there's going to be a new CEO. And right now, it's not Alan Bergman, who's the one who shut down this movie in the first place. So I think you're going to have to wait until the next leader comes in. Because let's not forget, the people who loved this movie, the people who loved the idea of this movie, were Kathleen Kennedy, Dave Filoni, and Carrie Beck, the 3 people in charge over at Lucasfilm. So Lucasfilm was completely on board. Adam Driver was completely on board. For the most part, and I say for the most part because Star Wars fans are never united fully, for the most part, Star Wars fans are on board. Or at least a very big portion of the Star Wars fandom is on board. So the only people that need convincing is Disney, is the CEO, Bob Iger himself. And if he's out next year, well, then all these people who are still on board are still going to be on board and still think it's a great idea with that story. So, do I think it will still happen? Yes, it's just going to take some time. Yes. So, continuing. A truck with an LED sign bearing the slogan, Save the Hunt for Ben Solo, in addition to the URL for the campaign's website, SaveTheHuntForBenSolo.com. Previously, the campaign had staged demonstrations at Disney's headquarters, flying planes with banners over the Disney's studio lot. We've talked about that. And renting a Times Square billboard, which they did again here for this, in tandem with the billboard truck. Undoubtedly, more will follow. This is just the beginning. These fans are not going to stop, nor should they. This is a great thing when it comes to Star Wars because the fans have such an immense power in this whole dynamic. We are the people who watch the stuff that they release. So we have a sway in what happens. There are, of course, exceptions to that. For example, Andor or Skeleton Crew. Nobody was asking for those, and yet we got them, and they're awesome. So there's always an exception where Disney and Lucasfilm, if they have a great idea, and maybe it's not what fans wanted or have been asking for, but it's still the right move. But still, you have Star Wars fans who got Rosario Dawson the role of Ahsoka Tano in live action because of a fan cast. You have people who brought Boba Fett and Darth Maul back because of the popularity of those characters and wanting more stories with them. You have it over and over and over again where Star Wars fans can do really, really good things with their power. Yes, you have the bad too. There's always good that comes with the bad, balance, as all things should be. But this is the good. Nobody's being hurt by this. Nobody's, getting shit on online for this. Well, I guess maybe some people are because they want it. But either way, this is not hurting anybody. This is not like, I don't know how they would hurt people by doing this, but you get what I'm saying. This is just fans wanting something and using their ability to do so to ask for it politely. They're using their own money to do so, and it's not hurting anybody. And it's not going to stop. The film's support also have had celebrity allies, Star Wars celebrity allies, in the form of The Last Jedi director Rian Johnson, who recently spoke out on the film with Collider saying, "Take my money. I only know what I read about it online. I didn't know anything about it, but who knows how things are developed these days. But man, I want to watch Adam Driver in anything, but I would love to see him play that character, in particular, Ben Solo, again." Wait, did I miss another super chat? Hang on. What is going on? Oh, I did. 50 Thunder with a very generous $2 house says, "Congratulations, Samantha."
Incorrect.
Okay. Go. Now that I've been so rudely interrupted, a new fan campaign sent the mobile billboard to the Disney Store headquarters in New York City, where it played "I Need a Hero." That is awesome. If you don't know the song, I'll hum it a tune because we can't play it for copyright reasons. It goes, "I need a hero. I'm holding out for a hero till the morning comes." From Shrek. You know, from Shrek. I love how the only place I really know that song from is from Shrek. Where do you know "I Need a Hero" from? And the only correct answer is Shrek. So what is the hunt for Ben Solo? Well, we kind of already know this. Feeling that his character had more places to go with his apparent death at the end of Rise of Skywalker, Adam Driver discusses the matter with filmmaker Steven Soderbergh. And Soderbergh's wife, Jules Asner, together the three plotted out a theoretical film that they pitched to Lucasfilm, with Soderbergh attached to direct it. The studio commissioned a script for Scott Z. Burns, which they paid over $3 million for, which is the most expensive script they've ever paid for. However, Disney brass reportedly did not approve the character returning from the grave, Alan Bergman and Bob Iger specifically. They could not see how Ben Solo could have returned. Ironic. So the project was terminated. It remained off the radar until Adam Driver himself revealed the existence in an interview describing the film as having one of the coolest effing scripts he's ever been a part of. Fans dissatisfied by the ending of The Rise of Skywalker rose up in unison to show their support for the film with a number of attention-grabbing stunts like this one. While the hunt for Ben Solo continues, Adam Driver can be found in theaters this holiday season in Father, Mother, Sister, Brother, a new anthology film from the longtime Maverick filmmaker. Okay. He's also signed on to star in Rabbit Rabbit. All right, cool. Sure. Whatever. So, the hunt for Ben Solo continues. And the Star Wars fans are not slowing down anytime soon. I think this is great. I think it's great because, one, it's not hurting anybody. And it's, again, Star Wars fans using the power that they have to ask for more Star Wars. Like, this is exactly what you want if you're Lucasfilm. First and foremost, because Lucasfilm wants the movie as well. But because you have fans who still love the product so much that they're spending their own money to ask for this project to still happen. I also look to the future. What could this mean for other projects that fans want? For example, like a young Palpatine show or a Darth Plagueis show, which people have been begging for decades. Could we get something like that because Star Wars fans do something like this? At some point, it might get out of hand. But we have not hit that point yet. We have not hit that point. At least not yet. So, With that being said, do you still want the hunt for Ben Solo? Actually, let's pull this up. Let's pull it up. By the way, still 60-40. Oh, I guess 59. 59-41. 59% of you do think that The Mandalorian and Grogu will make $1 billion. I agree. With 69 votes. Nice. All right. Do you want the hunt for Ben Solo? Yes or no? Do you want the hunt for Ben Solo? Let's see where the chat is at today. This is after months and months and months since Adam Driver said this in the interview. Let's see if the hype has died down or if Star Wars fans are still on the same page. All right, can I get some good cups full of orders in the chat, please? Bum, bum. Yes, 100%. Yes, 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 yes. No, okay. Palpatine came back because he was a Sith, and it was implied in the prequels that he was chasing a power of immortality. Ben became one with the Force. Okay, so when you get into the logistics of Ben returning, yeah, is one thing. Palpatine's death is falling down the giant chamber. I'm completely blanking on the name of what it is. He fell down the tube. Somebody in the chat help me out. You know what I'm talking about. He fell down the giant tube in Return of the Jedi. And we assume he died. That's our assumption, that he died. And then it was never confirmed that he was alive until about 30-something years later. Maybe 40 years later? No. 35-ish years. Reactor core. Thank you. Reactor core. He fell down the reactor core, and it wasn't until 30 plus years later that we found out that he was still alive. And for a lot of fans, that was not something that they ever thought was possible because they watched him 30 plus years before fall down the reactor core and watched the second Death Star blow up, and that he was definitely dead. Now, I agree with you that Palpatine is too much of a genius to go down that way. He would always have a contingency plan just in case Vader turned on him, which he assumed would happen eventually. So all of Project Necromancer and all this cloning stuff, of course, Palpatine would have a plan. So I agree with you on that. The only problem is when they gave us Palpatine, the only explanation was somehow Palpatine returned and some, Sith magic. There wasn't an actual explanation there. It was just sort of telling you that he's back, and that's it. So, for the most part, I think the years since 2019 have done a really good job of explaining how, with Project Necromancer, The Bad Batch, The Mandalorian, comics, and all that stuff. But when it comes to Ben Solo, he didn't fall down a reactor core. He's not like Darth Maul. He didn't get chopped in half and fall down that, I guess, same tube thingy. His body vanished. Now, his body vanishing can mean a few different things. One, he becomes one with the Force, as you mentioned, and he, becomes a Force ghost, but we don't see his Force ghost at the end of The Rise of Skywalker. We only see Luke and Leia's. So his body is not there, at least that we know of. The other option would be the only other time we know of bodies disappearing, and that is Ahsoka Tano's body disappearing when she enters the World Between Worlds, and Ezra Bridger's body disappearing when he enters the World Between Worlds. So if this is Ben Solo entering the World Between Worlds, his body would in fact disappear. Yes. So, yes, Palpatine returns because of his cloning operations, because he's able to, with the dark magic of the Sith, be able to bring himself back to life. Sure. And Ben Solo doesn't have that. He's not a Sith Lord. He doesn't have any of those great, cloning facilities operational. He doesn't have any of that. But he does have the World Between Worlds. Something that was set up in Ahsoka Season 2, or Ahsoka Season 1, and in Rebels to be that way for Ben Solo to return. By the way, right off the bat, and it's still very early, but 76% of you say yes, you still want the Hunt for Ben Solo movie. And I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. 24% say no, but 76 say yes for now. Indeed. His sacrifice was such a good scene, though. I do have an issue with the sacrifice scene. I get it. The dyad of the Force gives him the ability to know how to use the Force healing because the two of them are bonded. So she knows how to do the Force healing, so he does too. But my problem is not that he dies or that he puts his Force essence into Rey and then she survives and he dies. My problem is that his body disappears. Much like my problem is with Anakin's body disappearing. How can, and I know it's explained right before he dies, Obi-Wan comes to him and teaches him. He goes, quick, you have to listen to me or else you'll disappear forever. And he teaches him to go Force Ghost. From my understanding, and again, this is purely just because the Force Ghost itself is very unexplained, in canon at least. From my understanding, it takes like years and years and years of training for Obi-Wan and Yoda to learn to become Force Ghosts. Qui-Gon, even in his life, didn't finish his training. I guess that's sort of changed now because of the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, but again, this is all because of the lack of information we have when it comes to Force Ghosts. It seems like, at least because Obi-Wan and Yoda trained for decades to become Force Ghosts, that it's something difficult to accomplish. However, when Anakin becomes a Force Ghost at the end of Return of the Jedi, it seems pretty damn easy, at least for him. So, my issue with the whole Ben Solo sacrifice at the end is that his body disappears and he technically, we assume, becomes a Force Ghost. The fact that we don't see him at the end of the movie, though, with standing there with Luke and Leia, because they could have easily done that. He's sort of the love interest for Rey, so it makes sense for him to be standing there right next to his uncle and his mom, but he's not. So him not being there suggests that they could bring him back to life. I don't know if that was the intention. I'd love to ask J.J. Abrams myself, be like, hey, why wasn't Ben Solo a Force Ghost at the very end? See what he had to say. But I don't know. Giver, what's up? How we doing? No worries. I appreciate you being here. The hunt for Ben Solo has become a part of Rey. Of the Rey New Jedi Order movie. It is interesting that at the same time we are getting this hunt for Ben Solo news, the Rey movie just keeps getting pushed back. Because when the Rey movie was announced 2.5 years ago at Star Wars Celebration in 2023, it was supposed to be our first movie back in theaters. And now it's not the first, The Mandalorian and Grogu is, and it's not even the second, Starfighter is. So it's almost like they're pushing back the Rey movie more and more and more to hopefully wait out Bob Iger, to wait out the current heads of Disney so that when he's gone, they can now get this Hunt for Ben Solo movie in the works, and the Rey movie can have aspects of that movie involved in it, and the two can sort of work off of each other. I agree with you. I think the Rey movie's been pushed back so far because, well, for many different reasons, but one of them being Hunt for Ben Solo. Lucasfilm wants that story to still happen so badly. They want Ben Solo to be involved in the New Jedi Order, in Rey's story, continuing post-sequels so badly that they're just going to push it back until they're able to do so. Yeah. I say his mom took him to the world between worlds. Like Leia pulls him out. Ooh, because they disappear at the same time. Ooh, hoo, 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 hoo. I kind of like that. I think Luke would pull him out because Luke's already there. Ben and Leia disappear at the same time in Rise, so it would kind of be difficult for her to like disappear and then run right over and go get Ben. Maybe that's not how it works. I don't know. But it would make more sense for Luke to be the one that saves him. Or maybe even Anakin, if we're being, crazy here. Yeah. Did anybody else watch Rogue One on Tuesday to celebrate its 9-year anniversary? I did not, but I did see that it was the 9-year anniversary on Tuesday. And today is the 10-year anniversary of The Force Awakens. And actually, speaking of perfect transition, thank you for that. Perfect transition. Force Awakens 10 years ago today. Still one of my, or it's my favorite sequel trilogy movie, but it's still one of my most underrated Star Wars movies because it's such a good setup for what eventually becomes the sequel trilogy for Rey's character, Snoke, Kylo, Poe, Finn, a stormtrooper turned good guy, turned hopefully Jedi. So unbelievably cool. But with that, Disney has been posting some stuff about The Force Awakens. And today we got concept art from The Force Awakens. Take a look at this. So on the left is the concept art. On the right is the actual scene in the movie. Star Wars The Force Awakens concept to screen. To mark 10 years since the release of the first sequel trilogy film, go back to the literal drawing board to uncover how concept art helped define a new era in Star Wars storytelling. We marked the 10-year anniversary of The Force Awakens, which premiered in theaters December 18th, today, 2015. StarWars.com looks back at the film that launched the sequel trilogy and the Disney Star Wars era, really, because it's the first movie to release. By the way, while we read this, on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you rate The Force Awakens? Just The Force Awakens, not the entire sequel trilogy, just The Force Awakens alone. What do you rank it? And where do you put it on the Star Wars, your favorite Star Wars movies all time? All time, where do you put it? Out of 10, I'd probably give The Force Awakens 8.6, maybe 8.75. I really love that movie. I think it's such a strong start to that trilogy. It's also one of my first experiences with Star Wars in a movie theater because I was so young when the prequels came out. I didn't see those in the theaters, which was just incredible. And I mean, yeah, it still holds up today. Let's check out some scores, though. We got 7, 9, 5, 8, 7.75, 9.9. Holy crap, that's very high. 8.5. It's my 5th movie out of all 11 movies. Okay. Force Awakens is my all-time favorite. Nice. 8.8, 7, 9. BB8, nice. It's not in my top 5. Well, my top 3, as are Revenge of the Sith, Empire Strikes Back, and Rogue One. Then I would probably go to A New Hope, and it's very close. It's either Jedi or The Force Awakens at 5 or 6. So it's either my 5th or my 6th, depending on the day. So there you have it. Well, let's go take a look at some of these concept art. So this is really cool. I mean, talk about awesome. This was the concept art for it. You can see some like maybe Jawas down there or something. A completely destroyed Star Destroyer, and this is the reality. This is the real movie. So cool. There's that concept art of. This is one of the coolest scenes of the entire movie. Just the sunset with the TIE fighters rolling in. That's the concept art of it. This is the destruction of Starkiller Base. Oh, wait, no. This looks like it's being blown up here. So I'm guessing this is the destruction of it. This is it firing or charging up from the sun. Yeah. But I mean, come on. These are all coming from concept art from Doug Chang or Andrea, or Andrea, I guess. Andre, maybe. Wallen. So Doug Chang has been working on Star Wars since the prequel trilogy. Of course, Ralph McQuarrie is the concept art designer of the original trilogy. But Doug Chang has sort of taken over since. Look at that. Love the concept art, but I mean, oh, so good. Okay, continuing. They got the old TIE fighter in the concept art there. Maybe it was before they made the new designs. I do like the upgraded designs of the stormtroopers, of all the stuff, really. So cool. I mean, Jakku alone. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. I kind of like the cape, though. They got rid of the cape. I like the cape. Maybe it was too Vader-esque and they didn't want to keep it. Doesn't he have a cape at some points in the movie, though? Or am I crazy? Am I crazy? Here's the downtown of Jakku area. Whoa. This looks more like a guy on a throne up there type deal. Not our Unkar Plunt we know and love. And yeah, again, this is the old design. Maybe in the concept art they couldn't do the new design to maybe stop spoilers or something, but there's the old design versus the new. Oh, this is so cool. Oh, they had her sitting on the top of it. That would have been cool. And there she is sitting at the foot of it. I actually think, again, the live action looks better. Oh, you had a little bit of the, yeah, you had the design there. I mean, talk about a talent. Being able to draw like this is insane. Here we got Maz Kanata's castle on Takodana. Sorry. Trying to combine two different planet names. Vertical. The concept art looks better there. What the hell? That's Snoke? Hang on. Can I make this bigger? I can't. Oh, what the hell? Look at how creepy that looks. What the hell? Can we zoom in on this? Oh my god. He's like all white and his face looks like a skeleton almost. That is creepy as hell. Oh my god. Well, thank God we didn't get that. That's so crazy. All right, moving on. Another great shot. Coming across the water on Takodana. I love that this was always the plan for Ben Solo and his father to meet face to face on this giant runway, much like Luke and Vader in Empire. So badass. Like, the ability to draw all these tiny little characters is insane. Look at that design of an AT Walker. What the hell is that? Oh, that's actually there too. What? I didn't know that. That's sick. I've never seen that design before. That's so cool. And then there's Rey. From concept to live action. There you go. That's pretty cool. So, 10 years of The Force Awakens. One of my favorites. Definitely my favorite sequel trilogy movie, but one of my favorites all time. It's just really, really cool. 10 years ago today, we were introduced to characters like Ben Solo, Kylo Ren. And still today, we're getting a push for the hunt for Ben Solo, continuation of that character's story. And even now, with the Mandalorian stuff, we're getting so many connections and setups for that sequel trilogy as well. Yeah. So, there you have it with The Force Awakens 10-year anniversary. Now let's switch gears again to Starfighter. Because Starfighter just wrapped filming. And this is kind of actually earlier than I expected it to wrap filming. I thought it would go into 2026 and maybe into January or February. But it wrapped filming today. Yeah, today. So this was the post from Sean Levy. Levy, right? Levy himself, where he posted this on Instagram that says, "That's a wrap. Heading into Starfighter post-production and he's running on the wall there. I'm assuming that this is a set for the movie. Kind of looks like Thor Ragnarok. If you know, you know. That little circle prison that Thor and the rock dude that I'm completely blanking on his name. You know what I'm talking about? The rock dude? You know? Korg! Thor and Korg are walking. Yeah. If you know, you know. But this is some sort of hallway. Not a lot going on here. But Sean Levy running on the wall. And yeah. So going into post-production is very, very cool. This movie comes out on May 28th of 2027. So we're still about a year and a half-ish away. But when it comes to this movie, we learned last week that Matt Smith, who's going to be playing one of the main villains of the movie, was only on set for a few weeks. And we learned that his haircut, or that he's going to be human because his haircut was a necessity, and he's got this weird looking haircut. So, or maybe he's an alien, but you can at least see his hair. So we don't really know much in terms of plot. We don't know who the bad guys are going to be, who Matt Smith and Mia Goth are playing, like if they're alien or not, if they're painted a different color or not, if they're Sith or not, if they're pirates or not. We don't know. We do know it's going to be a brand new story, unconnected to what came before, but still feeling like that Star Wars universe. And Ryan Gosling is in it, and Flynn Gray is playing the main lead child, who is rumored to be Force sensitive, and that's why he's being hunted down by these evil people. So, not a lot to go off of when it comes to Starfighter, but filming has wrapped, and I think, thankfully, because Sean Levy is a goat, that we will be getting a lot more behind-the-scenes looks from post-production, maybe even some really, really early trailers. For example, if they're doing an Avengers Doomsday trailer this weekend attached to Avatar, that movie doesn't come out for another year. So a Starfighter trailer, if ready, or a teaser for a Starfighter trailer, could come out attached to The Mandalorian and Grogu. So if they want to hype up their next Star Wars movie, they could release a teaser trailer for that, like a very, very teasery trailer for that a year in advance with The Mandalorian and Grogu. But either way, Starfighter has finished production. So that's pretty big. Yeah. Hang on. One sec. Avatar just had a 3D Mandalorian and Grogu movie trailer. New trailer. Is it online? Has it released yet? Okay. Let's see. I'm just waiting because at any moment this weekend, a Mando trailer could drop. Because if it's playing in front of Avatar Fire and Ash right now, I might have to go see the movie. If it doesn't release this summer. I mean this weekend. This summer. Speaking of, we're talking about box office. I just came across this. Highest grossing films in the box office in 2025. Let's take a look. Neza 2, which somebody brought up earlier, made $2.2 billion. Zootopia is at 1.1 and it's still going. Lilo and Stitch is at 1 billion. It says million, but it's supposed to be a B. The Minecraft movie almost made $1 billion. Jurassic World Rebirth, which I heard was horrible, from multiple people actually, almost made $900 million. That's insane. Demon Slayer, I heard that was really good, but I've never seen Demon Slayer, so I don't know. Made almost $800 million. How to Train Your Dragon made $636 million. F1 made $600 million. Superman made $600 million. And Mission Impossible made almost $600 million. Pretty big year for the box office. $3 billion movies in a year that, honestly, not very many big movies came out. Like your top three are Zootopia 2, Lilo and Stitch, and a movie I've never even heard of before. Well, I've heard of it, but before it came to America, I'd never heard of it. Superman was the biggest disappointment of the year. I thought that movie was really good. I mean, it still made $600 million, which is nothing to, I guess, shy away from, but it's still not as much as I thought it would make. But there you have it. Next year, if we're looking at next year, I'm thinking billion-dollar movies. Mandalorian and Grogu, definitely. Spider-Man, definitely. Doomsday, definitely. Can Dune 2 get there? Dune 3, sorry. Can Dune 3 get there? Maybe. Maybe. I don't think Dune 2 got there, did it? Did Dune 2 make $1 billion? I don't think it did. So at least those three are guarantees for me. Ones that could be close, Supergirl, if it's really good, depending on, because, I mean, Superman didn't even make $1 billion, so Supergirl would have to be really, really good. Supergirl, if it's good, it could make $1 billion. Dune 3, if it's good, could make $1 billion. Oh, the Super Mario movie, the first one made $1 billion, right? So the second one, most likely, Super Mario Galaxy, could make $1 billion. What else comes out next year? Either way, you're probably going to look at 4, or maybe 3 or 4, maybe $5 billion movies next year, too. 2026 is just an insane year for media, not just movies, but shows, too. It's going to be wild. Yeah. I'm not seeing the Mando trailer, so I don't think it's released publicly here. But if anybody's going to see Avatar this weekend, tell me in the Discord if you see a Mando trailer, because I've already heard from multiple people that they have, but I need like very in-depth description or, record it. No, I didn't say that. Don't do that. That's illegal. Do not do that. I do not condone. But if you happen to accidentally leave your phone on during the beginning parts of the movie and you happen to maybe catch a Mando trailer, I would not mind it. Yeah. So, there's that. Let's watch this Mando trailer again, because why not? Din Djarin fighting a bunch of hollow chess pieces. Let's do it. So awesome. So awesome. I love the Din Djarin kick. So badass. They call it an action adventure. I mean, the amount of action in this is going to be insane. The trailer itself, the only teaser trailer that we have, is just filled with action sequences of ATs falling off the cliff and Din Djarin and Zebarelius being all badass. We may not know much about this movie, but we know it's going to be action-packed. Yeah. Indeed. So we talked about The Mandalorian and Grogu. Oh, the 1 billion hours watched. We did talk about that too. The trailer, yes. Ahsoka Season 2 is not being delayed, at least as far as we're aware. 190K subscribers we talked about. May the 4th being the biggest streaming day. 10th anniversary of The Force Awakens. I think we did it all today, chat. I think we did it all. So smash a freaking like in the stream if you have not already. Hit that subscribe, hit that bell so you get notified every time I post a video. We are now on the road to 200,000. I guess 191 is first. But 195 and 200,000 subscribers, of course, is after that. But this is still, what's crazy to me is this is still the off time for Star Wars. Like, we haven't had a show in months since Visions Volume 3, which was in October. So we haven't had anything for Star Wars in a long, long time. Yes, we got news, we got trailers, we got leaks, all that fun stuff. But in terms of shows, we haven't had Star Wars new content in months. And yet you're still here. We're still having a fun time being Star Wars fans, talking, speculating, doing all that great stuff. So I appreciate you so much more than you'll ever know. I know I say that every live stream, and it may sound repetitive and like it's a whole lot of hoopla, but it's not. It's really a blast, and I appreciate you all for being here. It really means the world. So smash a like. It really helps the channel and all that great stuff, and you know the deal. If you are not yet in the Discord, there's a link in the description below to a Discord called The People Who Love Star Wars. Go join that immediately. And yeah, we're coming close to the end of the year, so we'll be doing those recaps and prediction live streams for 2026 and all that greatness. So those will be in the next coming weeks. But for now, we got a new Mando trailer, or at least 13 seconds of it. If the full trailer comes out, I'll probably make a breakdown, or hopefully it comes out on Saturday and we can watch it live. Either way, Mando trailer coming soon. Yeah. But until then, may the Force be with you. Always. Oh, yeah. What a great stream. What a great show. You guys are the absolute best. This really was a fun one today. From everything from a new Mando trailer to Ahsoka Season 2 to Starfighter to 10-year anniversary to everything in between. We talked about pretty much every new project coming out, except for Maul Shadow Lord, but still. We'll hopefully be getting a trailer for that in January, but only time will tell. Either way, this was a fantastic live stream, and I appreciate you all for being here. Smash a freaking like on your way out if you have not already. You know, join all those Discords and members and all that other stuff, and, you know, greatness. Giver says, Mike, we also appreciate you. I appreciate that. Thank you for the free content and all your effort. I hope you blow up next year. That'd be nice. I think you will with all this Star Wars content. Yeah, I mean, when the Star Wars content comes out, more people are watching Star Wars videos, so your hope is my hope as well. And yes, the content is indeed free. So I appreciate it. But until next time, hope you have a great rest of your evening, great rest of your lives, and good night, everybody.